Namaste and welcome back to another episode of The Sapient. Today, for maybe in a very long time, we have two people on the show. So, hi, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hello, we're happy to be here and we're doing really good. It's been
Hmm,
basically just the start of the day so for us.
got it. Where are you based out of?
We're in Vietnam,
Vietnam. Nice. So, our time zones are pretty near to each other, right? Because I'm from India.
so that's like 1.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, that much, right? Because typically when my guests are from US or something, it's like 12 and a half hours. And the struggle is real, right? Because then sometimes I had to wake up at like 3 4 o'clock in the morning to speak to Americans. I'm like, let's just have one clock for the world, right? That just makes sense. Anyways, so yeah, what's your story? And because I'm seeing two people, so what's your story?
What's our story? Okay, you want to
Yeah.
begin?
You begin.
All right, so it's like a little bit complicated, but also can be inspiring, and it depends on how far do you want us to go? Maybe we can go a little bit further, be later.
Dude, we have an hour, so take your time, man.
Maybe we can go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'll start with this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
from the Czech Republic. She's from Cambodia,
Mm-hmm.
right? So already opposite sides of the world. So how
Yeah.
is it even possible that we got together and all this?
Mm-hmm.
I started working on my online business when I was about 19 years old, and I started traveling the world full time when I was
Mm-hmm.
22.
Mm-hmm.
And online, I made a friend
Mm-hmm.
who, with her family, coincidentally, lived in Cambodia. And so near Christmas, near Christmas 2022, I was traveling around Thailand, and
Mm-hmm.
my friend was like, "Yeah, you're in Thailand. I'm in Cambodia. Do you want to come spend Christmas with me and my family over here?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Whoa, okay, like, yeah, that sounds like an amazing adventure, right?" And so for Christmas, I flew over from Thailand to Cambodia
Mm-hmm.
to spend Christmas Eve and then the New Year's as well with her and her family
Mm-hmm.
over, over there in the capital and then on an island. And so on the 24th of December, I'm hanging out with my friend, and I'm not like a club person or a bar person, like not at all. But my friend is like, I kind of wanted to go dancing, do you want to come with me dancing? And nobody else in the house wanted to go. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, you invited me over here, and I said, I'll go with you, we can hang out and do this. And because I'm not a club person or not this kind of person. I'm like, okay, well, what's the worst that can happen? At least I'm gonna bring my free hug sign, and if
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not enjoying the dance or whatever, the club, I'm just gonna go out on the street and do free hugs in
Mm-hmm.
front.
All right, I can tell more. This is a funny part. So I went out that night with my
Mm-hmm.
friend. It's a Friday night, right? So we went out and I saw a guy who looked 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Holding a rose, a bunch of rose, maybe 5 or 6 rose on his hand, and just stand there like, look scary, like don't know how to dance. And I'm like, people around him is look older than him. I thought, oh, this guy he's so young. He just traveled with his parents. Like, what the fuck is he doing here? Like, don't even know how to dance why he came to the bar, right? And then a few minutes later, he just come to us and giving rose to us and say, hey, you
Mm-hmm.
want a rose? I'm not selling it. I'm not selling it. It's just to give for free for Christmas. He's repeated about 5 times because there's a lot of people who went there and sell anything they can, right? So
Uh-huh.
I was so confused, just like hold the rose, but my brain still loading. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? It's still loading, right? So then he walked back. I was like, oh, all right. So I just danced with my friend again. And a few minutes later, I saw my friend talking to him, and then I was just looking at them, and then he pulled out the free hug sign.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend was so confused because she was just standing there and he just pulled out something like this, right? So I was standing from maybe 10 meters away and it's in the bar. So it's so many people, right? I
Mm-hmm.
see the free hug sign and I'm like, no way. I see this one in real life. I gotta do this. I push everybody in front of me, push it away so go to hug him. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean,
sorry.
yeah. No, please go ahead. Yeah.
And well, after that, we kind of talk a little bit. But honestly, my English that time is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But he understand it at least, and
Mm-hmm.
he's also pushed me to do a free hug, and I'm really scared. Like, dude, I mean, we are from Asia, right?
Yeah.
So Asian people know that it's really
Mm-hmm.
scary to do something like this outside, especially when you're the girl.
Yeah.
So many rule for the girl, right? So I
Yep.
was like, ugh, I don't know what to do. I'm really scared. And then he pushed me behind me, like, come on, just do it, just do it. I was like, go little by little. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally just hold it up and everybody's come to hug. So it's like, have a great time together. And
Nice.
he need to go back home that time because he think he has a meeting with his client at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he gotta go. So he asking me if I can go for brunch tomorrow with him. So we just gotta talk. So for
Mm-hmm.
that time, I don't think we really like interested in each other. We just know each other. Like, okay, you look kind of interested, like
Mm-hmm.
the way you are, and we
Yeah.
just want to hang out. And also, he said, "Well, I'm from Cambodia, and he just went to Cambodia for the very first time, and
Mm-hmm.
he think at least maybe I can show him something in my country, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Yeah.
next day we went out. We went to Brown Cafe. So we just have a cafe and just sit and talk a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
that time we share a lot of things, right? So he's talk about his business. And that time I just quit my job
Mm-hmm.
and I do my own thing in online as well as a personal trainer. I just help people lose weight, but just in online. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for my passport and about to travel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he also traveling. I'm also traveling, and kind of sound much.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about me that time? Tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what was your kind of first um outburst of thought, right?
For me, it was really just like, oh wow, like a kind of a cool person from Cambodia speaks English. That's very rare already by itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then second, just quit a job to
Yeah.
do her business full time. Like I did that. I did the same thing. I know how hard it is. I love people who kind of go outside
Mm-hmm.
their so and do their own thing. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna learn a little bit about the country. Hang out with the local because I've done this in so many different countries before where I've
Mm-hmm.
traveled before Cambodia, and yeah, so we just kind of clicked very well, and I was very inspired by the rest of the story and everything else. And
Yeah. And how did you tackle, the communication gap?
hmm, you mean
Like,
with
because Julia just mentioned, like her English was not so great. So was it more of a vibe thing, or was it more like, um, let's talk to each other slowly?
it was definitely let's talk more slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And also, she says that she had a very bad English, but she
Yeah.
had good English for like normal conversation,
Mm-hmm.
communication wise.
Got it.
Obviously, grammar or spelling or something like
Yeah.
that, then she would probably fail horribly.
Yeah.
And
I
her
mean, we
pronoun,
Asians don't care about grammar that much. I
yeah, it
think,
doesn't matter.
we can agree on that. Like, we are just like, we need to tell you this, right? And we really don't care about grammar.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And, that's like one of the biggest things, right, in terms of communication, as you said, right? Because, we have seen couples who don't know each other's language, but they still manage to survive somehow. um
Oh, interesting.
yeah. So, what do you think, like, kind of helped you move forward in the relation? Because, of course, once you guys met up, right, and, you did speak to each other, and you understood, okay, this is a person that, I can spend the rest of my life with,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, it was exactly like that. So for me, it was like I already knew what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, if I'm going to get into a relationship, if I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
with a girl, well, first, I want to have the option to. I'm not interested in situationships or just like something like a fling for a couple weeks or
Yeah.
whatever. Like I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't interested in that at all. I was like, okay, I'm looking for like a partner and a teammate in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had pretty strict criteria in my brain. I've also wrote it out in my journal a couple times
Mm-hmm.
before, like, okay, if this is what I want from my future partner,
Mm-hmm.
from and then she just kind of was fitting all of the boxes. And then on the first day,
Mm,
we talked very deeply about our like values and vision and
Mhm.
dreams and what exactly we want to do and like where we come from, our stories and all of this. So it wasn't just like, oh, maybe get together kind of, but like I was like very calculated in my head of like, okay, she's
Mhm.
she's fitting all of these boxes, and I can see how it can work out together.
Mhm.
Asked me a really weird question that most of people didn't ask.
Mhm.
He
What
asked like,
what did I ask?
uh, "What do you want to do in life?
Yeah,
Did you
that's a deep question.
what did you see? What are you seeing yourself in 5 years?"
Yeah. Did you ask, is this a job interview?
I I'm like, and I was thinking about it, and he asked like, "Where you want to live in the future?" And I'm like, it's really deep because normal people they didn't ask this question, and Ondra just like, because he know what he want, right? So he
Mhm.
wants to know.
Yeah.
He's like looking for the person who fit in the box. So he
Mhm.
asked all the questions that he really need to know, and I
Mhm.
already feel like good kind of weird. So for the
Yeah.
very first day that I seeing him as a
Mhm.
17 years old kid, and after he asked me all those questions, and I'm like, who is really this guy? Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it almost sounded like an interview, right?
In a way,
Yeah, I
but
feel like I'm
Yeah.
interviewed. Like I feel like
Right?
in the office and somebody interviews me, I have to be like this, like answer like one by one.
it's
Really?
Right?
it's funny to hear this from like an outside
Mhm.
perspective, because this is what I do with every person that I meet,
Mhm.
especially if we get to talk like longer.
Yeah.
Like that's just like how I operate. It's like totally
Mhm.
normal for me. Asking
Yeah.
about their passions, their dreams,
Mhm.
what's their vision, what exactly do you want to do? What's your story? What's motivating you? Things like that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's just what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you are somewhat of a deep person where you try to dig into a person and see what they're made of,
Yeah,
metaphorically speaking, right?
yeah.
And Julia, how was it for you? Like, what questions did you ask?
Sorry.
How
What do
was
you?
how was it for you?
Like,
And
what
what did
questions did you ask him? Because he was grilling you, right, for a job interview.
I don't think I have any question. I would just wait and answer the question that he asked me. Like
Got
no
it.
question. Because I'm not prepared for this, right? Or like
Yeah.
not prepare anything. And then he just
Uh-huh.
came out with this question, and so I was just like answer one by one. So he
Yeah.
just kept asking one by one how he want to. I would just sit there like yeah, like an interview. I have nothing to ask.
Right.
I feel like that's an over exaggeration, though.
Yeah. Or I feel like you set her up though. You were
I
like,
feel like that's an over exaggeration. It wasn't like me sitting there like, okay, so what about this? What about going through one by one?
uh-huh.
It was more so mentally, but I was like, it was
Yeah.
in a conversation style. Like I would also share my story, share my opinion, perspective, just
Hmm.
like in a normal conversation setting, not like an
Yeah.
interview style.
But she
Um,
definitely got the job though.
oh yeah.
Right?
And but by the way, if we're talking about relationships and specifically getting into relationships, I think this
Hmm.
is like what most people miss,
Yeah.
and that's why most relationships don't work out, because
Hmm.
people get into the relationships for wrong reasons and they don't really
Yeah.
know
Hmm.
what it is that we're getting ourselves into here, you
Yep.
know.
Hmm.
And they are not ready. They don't know what exactly they're looking for. They're kind of just like, oh, I kind of like this person. They look cute.
Yeah.
It's a nice vibe. Whatever. Let's
Hmm.
let's get into a relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas it was more so like, okay, I know what I'm looking for, and this is kind
Hmm.
of. And I told her specifically like afterwards as well. It was like, okay, so this is what I want to do. This
Hmm.
is I'm gonna live in a van. I'm gonna travel the
Hmm.
world. I'm gonna speak on stages. I'm gonna build businesses. This is kind of my layout for the next 25 years of my life.
Hmm.
If that resonates with you and you want to be a part of it, we can
Yeah.
figure it out. If you
Hmm.
want to have, if that doesn't make sense to you, then
Hmm.
good knowing you. Like we can be friends or whatever. But the
Yeah.
relationship isn't gonna go like any further or deeper.
Yeah, he asking me directly like this after 2 days that we met. He was like,
Hmm.
okay, this is what I do. This is what I have people with. This is how I survive. Do you want to travel with me? Would you like to be my girlfriend? After 2 days. So we have some fucking crazy people, right? We know each other two
Yeah.
days. I think I was just kind of confused or something. But
That's not so reassuring to hear now.
But it's
Yeah,
I
like,
was confused, so I said yes. You know.
yeah.
and I honestly, for the beginning, I don't really believe it's work because, like, I'm sorry, I've been into some relationships, like, just in 2 months at least, we just fucking
Hmm.
break up. I never have a relationship for so long. And
Hmm.
also, this guy, I don't know, he
Who
Europe,
is that? Yeah.
brilliant. He asking me to be his girlfriend, and then he's traveling around, and I still cannot travel in yet. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think this is gonna work because I think he's gonna find somebody else in another country, right? So I just
Hmm.
said, okay, yes, but I'm not really believing it yet, like not yet.
Hmm. Yeah, I think she was in a stage where she was like, let's do a trial run of this and see if it works,
Yeah,
right?
Let's see how it works.
Right.
I was not doing a trial run. I was like all in right away.
Mhm. Yeah, because it takes a certain level of decisiveness to ask somebody to be a partner in like 2 days, right? Not everybody does that,
No, not really.
Yeah, I don't think so.
right? Do you think communicating your vision and kind of um what your expectations are out of your life also helped you, because
Yes.
you just made it everything just clear, clear cut, right?
Yeah.
No bullshit, just straight facts,
Yeah.
right? Do you think a lot of women go into defense mode after hearing that?
Into what?
Into
Defense.
defense mode because they don't know how to respond to that, right?
Hmm.
Because you know that might be something that just happens in real life. I mean, Julia is an exception, of course, where she was like, let's do a Netflix trial, but in general sense, right?
I think this would be my thought. I think she's kind of playing it off, like, oh yeah, maybe,
Hmm.
but I could see that she has a lot more figured out than
Hmm.
maybe she even understood, and I saw the potential.
Hmm.
Also, maybe granted, because I have my own journey. I studied psychology and this and that. So like, and I'm a
Hmm.
coach. So I could see that she's got things figured out. Plus, she was already doing her business,
Hmm.
and she quit her job. Plus, she moved out of her house when she was 12 years old. She was like basically by herself. So she's been independent and been doing all of these things, right?
Hmm.
So she's like playing it off like, oh yeah, I don't know, I didn't know what I was doing, but like she knew,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
And I think that's the problem, that most people, and this is not just women, this is also guys, like
Yeah.
you can go around asking people, hey, this is a great experiment. Hey, if you ask people, hey, what do you not want in life?
Hmm.
People will be like, oh, let me tell you, I don't want to have a boss. I don't want to be broke. I don't want this. I don't want to be stuck here. I don't want this. And then you ask them, okay, that's great, great list. What do you want? And they're
Yeah.
like, good question. I never really thought about that, you know?
Hmm.
So everybody knows what they don't want, but
Hmm.
nobody knows what they actually want.
Hmm.
And that's a big problem, because if you whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to get. So if you're focused on, I don't want to have this, I don't want to have this, I don't want to have this, that's what you're going to run into. But if you
Hmm.
focus on, I want to have a business, I want to travel the world, I want to have this, I want to do this, then that's what you're going to focus on, that's what you're going to go towards. And
Hmm.
when people ask you about it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, of course I know. So the bigger issue here is,
Hmm.
people need to figure this stuff out for themselves
Hmm.
way before considering relationships.
Hmm.
And that's my belief, that's my opinion.
Yeah, because I read somewhere that people have opinions about everybody but themselves, right? Right, like that's what just people are, like they have an opinion about everybody else, um and they themselves don't have any idea of what they're about to do, right? Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. Do you also think that it takes a certain level of maturity to be that clear,
Yes.
before getting into a relationship, from the both
Yes.
parties, right?
Yes.
Because if one party is kind of not mature enough, the other party would be in trouble.
I think so. Another also, if one party is really mature, then I think they can guide the other person to kind of grow up faster in a way.
Yeah.
But like that only goes to a
Mhm.
certain point.
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah. So
So
mostly yes.
yeah, but it's also kind of placebo, right, where the other person also has to accept that they are willing to grow,
Yeah,
right? Otherwise it's the same western style of relationships where you know it's more of trial and error, right?
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Do you think in the younger generation, right, because of the way we are marketed to and we are sold, right, in a style, people are not willing to work on the relations, rather expect like tailor made relations for them.
Mm. This is the power of social media or and the internet.
Hmm.
And so my answer is yes and no,
Hmm.
because it really depends on what you see on
Hmm.
social media. There's both. Like, there's totally ridiculous, unrealistic, crazy stuff out there, and then there's actual good marriage tips or relationship tips and communication tips and advice and guides, right? So like, if you pick up my phone and you go on my Instagram, it's
Hmm.
going to be completely different
Yeah.
from her Instagram,
Hmm.
and it's going to be completely different, both of us,
Hmm.
from your Instagram, and
Yep.
everybody else has their own Instagram. So like, if you go on my social media, for example, you will see like pretty good relationship advice and tips
Hmm.
from people who've been married for 40 years, or
Hmm.
people who've had, been in relationships for 25 years and things like that, when it comes to relationships. And there's other things, of course, right? And for other people it might be somebody somebody like Andrew Tate, right? Where it's just like fucking tens and things like that, like, and then that fucks up people's brains. So it really
Yep.
depends on what you see and what you see most often.
Hmm.
And most people sadly kind of just stumble into that.
Yeah.
And that would be a whole nother conversation. I talk about this a lot, of like using social media for personal growth and for benefits instead of letting it
Hmm.
use you. But yeah,
Yeah.
again, that would be a whole different conversation. So I think it really just depends on like what you put into your brain, because
Hmm.
there's both accessible. But if
Yeah.
you even look into, I think, and because of this, I think younger generations have better chances than the
Hmm.
older generations, because there's better information available if you want to find it. Like, if you want to find how to be in a lifelong relationship for the next 45 years and keep
Hmm.
the passion, keep the energy, keep the enthusiasm going, you can find that, and you can
Yeah.
find people who can teach you that.
Hmm.
Whereas back then it was much harder, and so that's why, especially in the US, but I think
Hmm.
in other places as well, the divorce rates are so high. And then,
50% at this
right,
point of time.
it's ridiculous. And okay, for their culture over here, it's like the relationships, or how people get into relationships, is even more crazy. But people stick with it a lot more.
Hmm.
But it's like it's forced, a lot of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
their
Hmm.
parents force kids to get
Yeah.
married, especially young girls. So
Hmm.
that's she could tell you a lot more about that. She likes to speak on that.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're from Asia, we know. You're from India, from Cambodia. Something like this is really similar, and a lot
Yeah.
happens.
Yep. Yep. You said something about social media, right? Do you think social media is kind of an echo chamber for people? Because if you are obsessed about something,
Oh
it
yeah,
just feeds you the same thing every
absolutely.
day, right?
Yeah,
Where to a point it can convince you of stuff that is like straight lies,
yeah. And
right?
there are some people who are very good at manipulation and lying and things
Hmm.
like that, where they seem to, like, they have all the right facts,
Hmm.
but they leave out just like a little piece,
Yep.
right? And then it seems like it's completely opposite.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's like we have to be really vigilant and very, very careful with
Yeah.
the consumption of information these days. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, because if you look at social media as a whole, right? There are like three, I would say, things that people manipulate. That is like relationships, finance, and politics, right? Like those
Mm.
are the three things that are manipulated the most,
Yeah.
right?
Topics. Yeah.
And especially in Asian countries where mental health is kind of taboo, like you don't speak about it, right? It's kind of, yeah, it doesn't exist kind of thing.
That's
Right.
how I grew up, by the way, too, in Eastern Europe mostly. It
Hmm.
was the same. My parents were,
Yeah,
it doesn't exist, just get over it,
yeah, just get over it. And um but also, do you think that kind of cultural differences, right, even between regions within the same country, let alone continents, also influences a chemistry of a relationship?
Yes. Oh yes. Oh, we've had many like disagreements and
Hmm.
misunderstandings and pretty big fights and heavy emotions
Hmm.
about something that's completely different that's normal for me, but is normal for her very differently, and then
Hmm.
it creates like a lot of yeah. You can see, you can see. I don't even want to remember
I
that.
don't even want to think about that shit. Yeah.
So who wins those debates major in a majority?
Who wins?
Yeah.
There's no win.
No win here.
Yeah.
Like there's no there's yeah, like you can't look at
Hmm.
it that way. I don't think you can look at it like there's got to be a winner and a loser.
Hmm.
It's got to be like we we kind of went of like, okay, we're just gonna figure out our own way,
Yeah.
Hmm.
meet somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
and see, or like make it
Hmm.
crazy because we're kind of
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
vibing. We went our own way. We started our own businesses and ditched the normal like what culture told us to do. Like right
Hmm.
for her culture said, oh, you're a girl, so you got to be a housewife. You got to get married by the time you're like 18, 19, and you're just gonna stay in the the guy's house, take care of him, he's gonna provide him whatever, right? And she said, no, I'm gonna go to school, and she left her house when she was 12 to go to work, at nights, and go to so she could pay for her own school. Like since a 12-year-old kid, to
Hmm.
me that's kind of ridiculous. In Asia it's
Yeah.
more common, but I had no idea back then.
Hmm.
And for me it was like my society or my family, they were all like, oh, you go to school, do this, get a job, and I
Yep.
was like, nope, I'm dropping out of school, starting a business, I'm going to travel the world and doing my own thing.
Hmm.
So that helped a lot, that we already had this little bit of a rebellious
Hmm.
mindset of
Hmm.
like, nah, I don't want to do that, I'm just going
Hmm.
to do my own thing. She said, I don't want to do that, I'm going to do my own thing. And so then if even if we have culture differences, we kind of just like, well, let's just do our own thing.
Hmm.
And that's been very helpful, even, but still doesn't avoid fights completely,
Hmm. Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is it's more of a cooperation than a tug of war, right?
Yes.
So you both, both people work towards the same goal.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds more like a corporate, but I mean, I don't know how I made it sound
It's
corporate,
a
but
company, it's a business.
But for this, like if you ask if we fight, I don't think we fight. But maybe he fight with his family. I fight with my family somehow.
hmm.
And again, they tell me something that it doesn't
Mm.
make any sense
Yeah.
about, okay, right, you gotta get married before you live together, before you travel together. But like I don't agree with this because I see my sister, my cousin, also the
Hmm.
people in the village, so they didn't know each other or they know each other really short time, and then they
Yeah.
get married because their parents think that it's a culture, you have to do it, otherwise you're gonna die. So they doing it. So because they didn't really know each other really well, so after they getting married, everything just happened. They have a kid and they get divorced, or the guy just go with another girls, and some of them even kill each other. And also
Hmm.
my sister, my biggest sister, get a fucking weird guy ever that she didn't
Hmm.
know, and when she getting married, so she kind of love him already. She has a kid, and then that stupid guy just do something stupid to my little sister who's just 7 years old.
Hmm.
Can you imagine that? Yeah. So it's like when
Yeah.
they tell me what to do, I just fight. Like, I'm sorry, mom.
Hmm.
Maybe for other kids you can lead them, but for
Hmm.
me, I'm sorry, I just gonna take my life. I'm
Yeah.
gonna support you with the financials and stuff, but for
Hmm.
my life, please, like, leave me alone. I'm gonna live my own way, and don't
Hmm.
even tell me what to do. I'm not gonna listen to anything. But didn't mean I
Yeah.
didn't love you. It just
Hmm.
that's how I live. And if you talk
Yeah.
about that, I feel like I live in another world compared to them. Like
Yeah.
I think I'm not really like travel a lot, I think
Hmm.
5 countries that I have been, but they
Hmm.
never been anywhere except the small village that they live there for three,
Yeah.
four, 500 people there, right? So they see nothing. They only see their people. They only know
Yep.
everything that the old people know and tell them, right? So for this, like, yeah, we kind of fight, but not in the relationship. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Now, a quick shout out to Luxy, a dating app tailored for those who appreciate quality. Luxy goes beyond the ordinary with a selective membership process that ensures you're connecting with singles who share your high standards. Plus, Luxy's income verification feature brings a unique touch, offering a level of trust and exclusivity you won't find anywhere else. Want to elevate your dating experience? Try Luxy and meet people who match your ambition, style, and goals.
Yeah. But also, Julia, looking at your trajectory of where you came from out of, right? And you say you have traveled so many countries, right?
Five,
Um,
three.
right. And when you talk to people who have not even left their district, let alone their state, right? Um, what's your kind of first feeling towards them? What do you want to? What do you feel about that?
Uh, Honestly, I just really want to tell them. Doesn't matter a girl or a boy. I just want to tell them, right? I think you better go travel.
Hmm.
That's it. Like, that's what I really want to tell them. Because most of them, when they talk to us, like, they never know what Vietnamese look like. Like, sorry, what Vietnam country look like, right? They
Hmm.
have no clue. But
Yep.
they didn't even ask me yet, but they just heard that I already been to Vietnam. And they was like,
Hmm.
oh, Vietnam's is really crazy, like, fucking criminal still stuff. And it was like, not say Vietnamese people's gonna hate Cambodian people. Actually, I'm here and chill. Like,
Hmm.
nothing happening, right? So I want to tell them, like, get out of your house, get out of your country, see
Hmm.
the world. You never know. A lot of opportunity out there. You never know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I really
Yeah.
want to tell them.
Yeah, but it also kind of broadens your experience with people, right? Because you're dealing with people from all walks of life, where you're like, okay, whenever I go to a new conversation, I should not carry assumptions about a person, right? Whereas a less traveled person might have assumptions about other people, right?
Yeah.
So do you see that in your journey, kind of, where you worked on your own assumptions a lot?
I don't get it. Sorry. What did you say?
From my perspective, I would say yes. How to explain this to you? So when you don't really travel, you
Uh
kind
huh.
of assume that people are this way and this is how it works over there,
Oh
but you
right,
don't really know. So
right.
how was it for you? Did you have did you have to like open your mind more about, oh, I believe this or I think this
Yep.
about these people, but then the reality is maybe different, so I have to be more curious when you start to travel?
Mm, I think kind of more curious because I just want to get to know more about.
Hmm.
Well, always like it's also depend where I been. Like,
Yeah.
well, I guess I don't know about how to describe this. Sorry, but
That's not a
again,
problem.
but again, it was just like you understand, like you even more understand and open mind.
Hmm.
So some of them they kind of really kind of get angry at you when
Yeah.
you talk about your opinion. But
Hmm.
for me, I
Hmm.
think when they get angry, I was like I kind of laugh at them because they're just angry at other people' opinion because well they think what they believe is the truth,
Hmm.
right? So,
Yep.
example, I think maybe your country is as well. I have no idea about India, but for my country, they still believe that beauty standard is the first thing, and mostly they pointed to the girls. You have to
Hmm.
be slim, like skinny, long hair, have a makeup at least a little bit, and one
Hmm.
thing that they fucking focus on is white skin.
Hmm.
Like
Yep.
do anything it takes
Hmm.
the lotion or take off the skin, whatever it is, to just make the skin white. And they believe
Yep.
that that is beautiful. And
Yeah.
because of that, it's not just I think that's really in general because I see a
Hmm.
lot of kids that got bullies in school because they
Hmm.
had a curly hair from when they was born. And normally, I'm sorry, we Asian, we have
Yep.
this skin types that everybody have. If you want to have
Yep.
white skin, then you just gotta do something else. But it's no chance that you're gonna was born with white skin, right? So some
Yep.
of them get a white skin because of the lotion, and they go to bully a kid who don't have white skin yet because they're still a kid, right? So some of them are like get depressed, anxiety, crying. So it's like, I'm sorry, like this is really bad. But I'm sorry, I couldn't change them because I mean you cannot go change everybody, but you can change yourself by understanding this and like get over it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense because moreover, everywhere in Asia, culture is pretty similar, right?
Yeah.
And expectations are pretty much same. It's also because it's because of the imperialism. Like we were ruled by British for so much time that we have this attraction towards white skin, right? If you really think about it.
Okay, I will add something. This is I find this fascinating, right? In Asia, people who have brown skin, they
Yep.
are obsessed with beauty has to be white skin.
Yeah.
White.
If
Yeah.
you go to Europe or the Western world, people are
Tan.
white. They are obsessed with tanning and
Yeah.
having more brown skin.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating how people are just like unsatisfied with what
Yeah.
I have. So
Yeah.
I have to like, and it's completely the opposite, right?
Yeah.
The beauty standard is also very different.
Yep.
Like it's the
Yeah.
opposite, and
Opposite.
Yeah.
it's so interesting.
Yeah,
How
it's also like hair, right? Like those people who have straight hairs are trying to get curly hairs,
yeah.
and those people who have straight hair, curly hairs, they're like, I should have a straight hair, you know.
Yeah,
Um.
I would just see it last night in the TikTok. It was a girl who was 14 years old. She posted her of her photo, just two of them, and she write
Mhm.
a caption. And I go to see comment, and I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking ridiculous. So she posts like, I really want to be beautiful,
Mhm.
but how? Look at this, just my hair's gonna ruin everything. And she just have a curly hair that looks so beautiful to me. And her
Yeah.
brown skin, her face, everything is look perfect for me. Like I really dream of that, right? And like she posts like she really regret that she have that when she was born. And I go to see comments and every comment tell her to go to the salon and get a straight hair. That she
Yeah.
gonna look beautiful. I'm like, what the heck was this? You know, it's like doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense at all. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
kind of funny.
And I don't know whether you guys realize this or not. A lot of men, right, who are short, think tall guys are very secure and confident. Well, it's actually the opposite. Tall guys are not that confident or secure about it, right? They're like, in a group of people, I just stand out like a tree. Right? They're not confident.
All right, I
but
think it's
but right, short guy looks at a tall guy and says, okay, you are so tall, right? Like you
Yeah.
should be so much confident. But it just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, I'm really
Right?
tall for Cambodian girl. I'm like 175 centimeter.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
really
lot.
tall. I'm
She's a
really
tall
tall, and
lady.
everybody is call me a palm tree or a coconut tree.
Oh
that's,
my
that's
god.
what my friends call me because they are like really short, maybe 160, and I'm like
Yeah.
175. I'm like really tall for them. And
Yeah.
some of them seeing me and they was, oh my god, I wish I have a tall like you. And some of
Yeah.
them said, okay, you are just too tall. You're not gonna have a husband because your husband's gonna shoot.
Well, send them a selfie. Say what? Right. Yeah. Like this whole conversation kind of ties back into the relationship, right? Where
Yeah.
people have certain physical expectation of their partner, right? So if somebody says, I want a short girl. Somebody says, I want a girl with more height. I have never seen somebody say that, but just making an assumption, right? um and it is sad to see that people lose a lot of good people just because of their physical expectations, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Like they would rather be with a toxic good looking girl than very positive average girl, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. There's not much to say about that. Like it's like, what are you doing? Why? you know?
Right, why?
It might be actually, it might be because of the expectations and what other people are gonna think
Oh, right. That's
about
true.
about you, especially for guys. I guess this is what I would see in Europe. It's like, um, you want your girl to be like 10 out of 10, not
Hmm.
really for you specifically,
Yeah.
but for other guys to be jealous
Hmm.
of you that you have this really beautiful girl.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, like it doesn't matter. So it's, if we go back to relationship, looks have to be definitely second, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, they're still important, right? And when you're writing out your list of who's your ideal partner,
Hmm.
um, focus a lot more on the psychographics, what's in her
Hmm.
brain or what's in in her head,
Yeah.
and the values, the beliefs, the goals, the dreams, personal development,
Hmm.
things like that, rather
Yeah.
than just looks.
Yeah, because at some point, all the looks go away, right?
Very true. Very true.
And you're just left with the mental state of a person, as you said, the mental being. And if that's fucked up, guess what?
Well, it's not just that the looks go away
Mhm.
as we grow older. It's like it's a nightmare. Like, yeah, and it's just it just makes your life so much harder if
Mhm.
you have this person that you have to deal with that may be cute, but
Yeah.
like a witch, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or like a manipulator, right?
Mm,
In a relation, that's one more thing that people are like, she's very manipulative or he's very
yeah.
manipulative, but he looks good, so I'll put up with it.
Oh no, I think I want to go back a little bit to the conversation. I still remember you asked who's the winner, who's the loser.
Mhm.
So I think in the relationship, for two of us, I don't think we're gonna find somebody is the winner, somebody is the loser. I think the
Hmm.
main thing is the conversation. Like if I angry at him for something, I'm gonna tell him like, "Hey, come sit. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm angry at you because you didn't do this, no, not like this, like, so yesterday my eyes getting hurt and he didn't pay attention because he was just being busy
Hmm.
with something. But I mean, I'm a girl, I still have emotion, so I just get angry at him, and then I tell
Hmm.
him like, hey, I'm sorry, I tell you that I need help and you don't give a
Hmm.
fuck, like you cannot do that, I get upset, right? I tell him the
Hmm.
truth. So he was think about it, and then he say sorry, so he's like next time he may be getting careful about it.
Hmm.
And also he's telling me something because I'm
Yeah.
really aggressive, like not like hurting him like bad way, but like for love, I'm like, sniff him like in aggressive way. This is how I impress love, right? So he's telling me,
Hmm.
but I understand this, but you better be a little bit careful. Like I don't like when it's too aggressive. I don't feel enjoyable, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, in relationship, it's like mostly about the conversation. Doesn't matter what it is, right? So if you think
Hmm.
you're trying to find the winner and the loser, when you talk about that word, I can
Yeah.
imagine the knife, like you're gonna cut each other because you want to win or lose, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think that word is useful in the relationship. No way.
Hmm.
I want to win.
Go get the knife.
Yeah. Yeah, let me ask you this, right? Are you both extroverts, or how is it in terms of
We are
characters?
weirdo.
That's the best description. We are weirdos. Um, um, I'm I'm very much personally. I'm very much an introvert, but I've
Hmm.
trained myself to be extroverted. A
Hmm.
lot of my introversion was caused by social anxiety and all of this extra
Hmm.
and shyness and things like that. Um, but naturally, I'm more introverted,
Hmm.
and I've learned to be extroverted and very expressive, and I
Hmm.
really enjoy it. But at the same time, I need my like alone time and my peace
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
like, my solitude. And yeah, she's had a little bit of struggle with that. I'm like, hey, I need to be alone. Like I want to go for. I'm not feeling so good. For example, I need to relax my brain. I need to recharge. I want to go for a run. It's one of my ways how to like how I reset myself, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, okay, I think I'm gonna go for a run because I'm not feeling so good. And she's like, can I go with you? Can I go with you? I'm like, that's my space. Like, I don't really, it's not gonna help me if you're there. And she's like, oh, you don't care about me, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever. And then so
uh,
finally, I was like, this was what, last week.
Yeah,
I
last.
was like, okay, you can come with me on the run. And
Mhm.
then we're running. I'm like trying to clear my brain and just focus on my run. And she's like joking, like pushing me a little bit, and I'm like, okay, we gotta like this is not gonna work. Never again. I need my space, right? And she's like, she gets it, and
mhm.
it's obviously dealing with that. And then again, we have to communicate that very clearly. Of like, hey, I really need this. This is for me. And if I don't have, if you don't give me this space, it's gonna
Yeah.
be bad for both of us here, right? So it's a
Mhm.
win-win situation if you just let me go run by myself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I personally definitely need a lot more space and solitude and
Mhm.
introverted time, not just from other people but also just from her.
Mhm.
I kind of more in extrovert though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to be alone too long, because if I do that too long, I
Mhm.
I get into depressed for no reason. Like, what are you worried about? What are you overthinking about? I don't know. I just overthinking, right?
Mhm.
I don't know. I just depressed. What are you depressed about?
Yeah.
I don't know. And
Mhm.
then your brain just trying to find so many things to worry about when you don't really need to worry about. Like, life is
Mhm.
beautiful. What you have to worry about, right?
Yep.
So I kind of more like extrovert.
Yeah.
she's
How?
she's also
Mhm.
always like, not always but very often, she's always like, I said that again, very often, not always, very often she says, can I have some attention, can I have some because I'm like working, I'm busy, I'm focused on the business, or I'm figuring stuff out, I'm planning where we're gonna travel, this. And she's like, oh, you don't pay attention to me. Can I have some attention? I'm like, "Oh, okay.
Oh, come on. It's just a girl thing.
Yeah. Also, the best kind of relationships are the quite opposites of each other, right?
Yeah.
If both are extroverts or both are introverts, that's trouble.
Yeah,
Right?
somehow.
Can be.
Can be, yeah.
It, I cannot really say. Maybe yes, maybe not. It depends, I think, on the people.
Mm-hmm.
Have I met any people who are both introvert? I've seen. I don't know if I've had any specifically people that I know, but I've seen videos of like memes, for example,
Yeah.
when like the couple is an introvert, both
Yeah.
of the couple are an introvert, and then the plans get canceled, and they are both celebrating. Ah, let's go! We're gonna watch a movie
Yep.
out by ourselves instead of going out. That kind of thing. So maybe people can make it work somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, yeah, it depends on like your situation, and then seeing, okay, how can we make this work
Mm-hmm.
with what we have.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's also like having that quite polar opposite
yes.
characters in the same relation kind of pushes each other,
Yeah, it
right?
can be like in different aspects, right? So if they're very same in being extrovert and in being introvert, then they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be very different in probably some other area. You know,
Yeah.
it's very rare that you get two people who are like exactly the same in all areas and in
Yep.
all areas of life.
Kind of
Um,
have each other out as well. If one of them is introvert, one of them is extrovert, So
Mm-hmm.
then we kind of, I think, easy to understand each other somehow as well, though. Because, oh, how to explain this? I don't know.
I
But
don't
like,
know
it's
what you're
easy
trying
to
to.
have each other. Like, so example, I'm an extrovert. I like to went out for something, right? So he didn't like it. So maybe I can tell him, well, you know what? If you're like feel stressed and if you went out to see people, right, then you're feeling better because of this, because of that, right? But
Yep.
he overcame his social anxiety, so he don't really scared to go out. But just sometimes he need time by himself. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's different. Like if I feel like low, if it's sad, I need him to be with me because he can slap my brain. Like,
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, I mean it helps each other to be in track, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
um
maybe we'll just
to be in sync more.
yeah,
Because an extrovert can cover for an introvert in an external events,
yes.
like where there are too many people. Right? Yeah, that's a unique thing. Okay, since now there are like a million dating apps,
oh yeah,
right? like a million.
Millions and millions of them.
Right? Do you think this whole dating landscape has changed?
Yes.
And it became more of a hunting grounds than actually finding somebody,
Yeah.
right? Because when you're on a dating app, I assume you're constantly comparing people,
Yeah.
right? So
Dating apps
how? Mhm,
are so bad.
mhm,
Dating apps are so bad.
mhm,
Delete that shit, unsubscribe if by any chance you've paid for it,
mhm.
throw it out of the trash,
Yeah.
and never open that shit again.
I mean, get to know people in online is great, but I don't think dating apps is a great idea. I used to have it too before I know him, but like to
Mhm,
me, just for fun, just to flirt with people, just for fun. That's it. But like never
mhm.
think anything serious. But like if you get to know some people in Facebook or Instagram that you just have a friend with, and you kind of have a text and you kind of like each other, I think that way is like is even more better because I don't know because some people in that platform they show themselves with anything that they want to show, right? But in the
Yeah.
dating app, sorry, stuck
Mhm.
with the English. I think most of people, also me, I just want to put my really beautiful picture, like
Yeah.
people to see and interested in, right? So
Mhm.
it's like I don't know. Some people work with that, some people not. But for my opinion, I don't think it's good. That's it.
I would say
Yeah.
for 99% of people, it's very,
Mhm.
really bad. There are some rare exceptions in rare cases that it worked out and then they actually met a partner.
Mhm.
Um, that again, like kind of prefaces like you have to be really intentional with what you're looking for and be like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
looking for a relationship. This is
Mhm.
exactly what I want. This is how I'm going to know that this it's a good fit.
Yeah.
And then
What I feel is,
most
it's not bad thing to use a dating app, but it's a crime to use a dating app where there is nothing which is verified.
okay.
Right? Because there are dating apps which can verify the particular person or their income, or there are a lot of criterias, right, that people
Hmm.
look for. And there are services which do the verification.
Hmm.
um you're better off using that than somebody catfishing you.
Yeah, yeah, that too. But it's also like the swipe left, swipe right kind of thing,
Yeah.
where you're
Mhm.
constantly comparing people, and you're
Yep.
not really trying to get to know the person. You're not trying to
Mhm.
build a connection. You're
Yeah.
just comparing only looks. They're
Mhm.
highly in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many people actually go to look at the interests and stuff? Very, very little,
Very
right?
little. Yeah.
And then it also creates this like grass is always greener kind of especially in
Yep.
guys because I don't um I can talk on that
Mhm.
like oh like but on Tinder there's so many of these beautiful girls that I can just swipe on, whereas and it's obviously just photoshopped and unrealistic or the best angle, like 1 out of 100 selfies that they took kind of stuff, so it's so artificial and it's artificial and superficial. So and it messes with the brain and it doesn't
Mhm.
help you build actual relationships. um,
Yeah.
a lot of it is, especially in the Western world, it's really focused on one night stands and
Yeah.
situationships more so,
Mhm.
rather than finding a relationship. So like if you want to find a partner,
Mhm.
don't really look on I cannot advise people to look on dating apps to find a partner.
Do you think it's just because people are scared of commitment, or are they scared of getting hurt?
That's a
Hmm.
good question.
I think those are both. Those are very, very connected. I think um, being scared of commitment is definitely a big part of it. Being scared of being getting hurt is probably a bigger one, actually.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Got it. Now, what's your take on prenups?
prenups.
Yeah. Of course, in most Asian countries, it's not even legal. But
Whoa, it's not
what's your take on
it's
prenup?
not illegal to have a prenup. Damn,
Yeah.
interesting. Um, for us,
Hmm.
I don't think it's gonna make any difference.
Hmm.
Um, because we got together when we were both like completely broke.
Oof.
Like completely broke.
Yeah.
Um, so we're building everything together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in some cases, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't, to be completely honest, I haven't really put that much thought into it to be like to have
Mm-hmm.
a very concrete opinion and way to explain it. I think in some cases it probably makes a lot of sense. Uh,
Yeah.
there is what I can definitely say is that there are a lot of women out there who are doing this game to
Mm-hmm.
exploit guys, exploit people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because I think I need to give you more of an idea about the debate, right?
mm,
The debate is, women argue, or most women argue, that prenup is a man thing,
hmm
right? Because it's about money.
hmm
But they are like, why are you preparing for a breakup in the future?
yeah,
Where the man is, it's not me preparing for a breakup. If you really are in it for me, then sign the prenup, because it should not mean anything.
yeah,
Like, that's the whole debate right now. If you look at the prenup situation,
right.
yeah, I mean, it's a deep topic.
Both sides to me, yeah, to me, both sides make sense, right? I
Hmm.
think if both people are in the relationship for like, okay, we're in it for life, then it shouldn't matter. So if
Hmm.
either of the people are like really fighting on it, then there's a problem. If it's like, yeah, let's get a prenup, let's do it, and then both are like,
Yeah.
yeah, if we're already both committed, it doesn't make a difference, right?
Hmm.
If if the girl starts fighting about it, like, no, I don't
Yeah,
want to have, why would you want to have a prenup? Then, oh
that's a
whoa,
red
that's a
flag.
red flag, like, what are you
Yeah.
intending here, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's from the guy's perspective as well, like, oh, you're planning to break up, or you want to prepare yourself, you want to get my money,
Hmm.
you want to get my shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Exactly.
and yeah, again, it happens a lot. So I think
Hmm.
it's from both sides. If the topic of the prenup comes up and like, hey,
Hmm.
let's get a prenup, and both are like, yeah, yeah, that makes total sense,
Hmm.
that's the best situation, right?
Hmm.
Because none of the parties should be insulted by this if both are 100% committed to doing whatever it takes to stay together. Then the
Hmm.
prenup is never going to take effect. So
Yeah.
why,
Right.
I guess that would be my thought from just the top, without giving it any deeper reason.
What do what about you, Julia? Like, what's your take on the prenup situation?
You know what he means by prenup?
I will still think about it.
It's like
About
a
what you're saying.
prenup is like the contract
That's what I think. The contract example
before.
what you have if you break up.
Yeah.
Well, it would be. I think it would be good, but also would be bad for that. Because I don't know. You never. Okay, for that, I have no idea. But if the girl want to have something for herself, like
Hmm.
example, she want to have her own business. She want
Yeah.
to do something by herself because again, you plan something for the future, but you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
What if somebody die, right?
Hmm.
Not break up for some reason, but what if he died? Like, what are you gonna do,
Yeah.
right? So,
I guess then the money would just go to the person.
Yeah, I think that's,
yeah,
and prenup is like for divorce.
but for prenup for divorce, like, I have no idea.
No problem.
I
Because
think I'm early in that yet, so I have no idea.
no problem. Because there is a statistic that says, the 7 out of top 10 richest women got their money from divorces.
Yes, but I would be curious actually on this topic. I would be curious of like, what are the percentages of how many people get divorced if they got a prenup, and how
Hmm.
many people didn't get divorced when they got a prenup. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what are the percentages on that? Um,
yeah. I'm
overall,
really curious now.
overall divorce rate is very high, like 50%, right? 50% of people get divorced. But do all of them have prenup, or do none of them have prenup? Like, what are the percentages there? I think that could give us like more insight of like how, if it actually plays a role in what it shows.
Right?
Um,
Yeah, I'm also curious about that because um, you're right in terms of it's like how many did actually end up, right? Um, okay, so it says only 5% of divorces in United States have a prenup agreement in place.
wow, very little,
Yeah, yeah,
very little.
yeah, very little. And a study mentioned for many prenups, right,
Hmm.
found that 62% of people surveyed believe that requesting a prenuptial agreement sends a negative signal before future of marriage. So it's like a lot of people are against it,
Wow.
We never know about that.
Mm.
right?
And damn, like this is like something that I was honestly I like didn't really want to think about too much yet.
Yeah,
Especially because, well, I have no idea what the process is gonna be of us
yeah,
getting married because she's from Cambodia, I'm from the Czech Republic. So that itself is gonna create a fucking whole other mess.
yeah, paperwork mess.
Yeah, like so like I'm like, okay, we're gonna cross that bridge when we get to it, you
When we
know.
get, yeah, yeah, that
Right
makes
now, I
sense.
don't want to think about any of the bureaucracy and paperwork over here and paperwork over there, and
Yeah,
ugh, that's gonna be a headache.
imagine, right? Imagine. I mean,
Yeah,
that's very hard. Um, if you're from two different countries
Yeah,
and literally two different continents,
yeah,
the
oh,
paperwork is going to be a mess,
yeah. And I
but
mean,
also the
Cambodia
whole
itself,
procedure.
to be like honest, Cambodia itself is already a mess.
Yeah.
You know, and Czech Republic is a lot of mess as well. I think it's maybe a little bit better with the government and bureaucracy and all of this and the institutions,
Hmm.
but
Right.
I really don't
Yeah.
like these.
Could you imagine the logistics involved in it?
Don't even
Right.
make me think about that shit. Damn, I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get to it. I know I know we're gonna figure it out, but like, yeah, it's probably gonna be a challenge, you know,
mm,
and
Yeah.
um, figuring it out what paperwork we need and how we get it and whatever. Like,
I
where
already
where do we
stressed just to
where do
get
we
this.
where do we go? Do we go to the Cambodian government? Do we go to the Czech government? Do we have to go to both governments? Oh my God,
Imagine.
where's gonna be the wedding?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be in Cambodia? Is it gonna be that? Well, fuck it. Let's just do it in Hawaii. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
I
become
don't know.
Americans. Just change the citizenships.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't want to
Yeah.
think about it yet now. Like I already feel stressed about it. I just listen to it. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to think
Yeah.
about it. No,
Yeah. So for how many years have you guys been together?
It's very close to 2 years now.
Nice. Got it. So you're still not in the stage where you are going into that mess of marriage. Just in paperwork.
No, no messy paperwork yet.
Right?
if it's too messy,
Yeah.
then just don't care about it. Create our
Yep.
own and just live again. You know.
We're just gonna write our own paper, you know? Just like,
Yeah.
okay, we're married now, sign it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Um,
That sounds like a plan.
the only, for us right now, honestly, the only, and this would be kind of just for me, honestly, as a
Hmm.
little bit of a flex, just to make myself feel a little bit better. The only benefit of us getting married that I can see
Hmm.
now, as in like having official papers and stuff like that, is
Hmm.
that when we buy a passport in the Caribbean, then
Hmm.
both of us get it. So I would have
Yep.
a dual citizenship, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And the reason why we want to do that because her passport sucks and it's really
Yep.
limiting in visa. And
Tell me about it.
you know this. I don't have to tell you, right? So she has to
Yeah.
deal with all that shit. I just have my European passport. I just show up like, what's
Yeah.
up? And they're like, oh, come spend your money in my country.
Yeah, yeah.
So um, for me, the world is very open. For her, it
Hmm.
sucks, right?
Yeah, for
The
me too.
only way around it, the only way around it is, well, there's
Buying a passport.
two ways. One, buying a citizenship and buying a passport. It's called like
Yeah.
citizenship by investment. You can do
Hmm.
that in the Caribbean. They have very good passports. It's like 150K, the
Yep.
US dollars. Pretty
Hmm.
expensive. Another way is that we get married and then she lives in the Czech Republic for
Hmm.
5 years, has to learn the language, has to learn the culture,
Yep.
has to do like a citizenship test, and has to have an employment, has a job there, and this and that. And yeah, it's going to take minimum 5 years.
Hmm.
Um, so I believe that with our businesses,
Hmm.
the it's going to be easier and faster to get to the point of just paying for a citizenship.
Hmm.
But yeah, the only way the distinction there is like if she buys a citizenship,
Hmm.
and we're married, then we
Yeah.
both get a citizenship and a passport. If we're
Yeah.
only a couple, if we're only let's say
Not legal.
even if we're engaged, not legally, right? Like if we have our
Yeah.
own paper, like look, we're
Yeah.
married, and it's like on a piece of napkin or something,
Yeah. It doesn't work.
then they're gonna be like, yeah, we don't take that. That's not, it's
Yeah.
not official. So
Yeah.
only she would get the passport, and it
Hmm.
does wouldn't affect us really. We could still
Yeah.
travel. I still have my freedom already, but
Yeah.
like
I want to
having
travel.
two passports and a dual citizenship sounds fun.
Yeah.
I want to have freedom.
Yeah.
I want to travel a lot. My passport is struggling.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know the best way of getting a passport, a strong passport?
What's the country called?
Let me tell you, right? You go to US, right? You overstay your visa in California and you report yourself. That's all.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what people are doing now.
What?
No.
Yeah,
What are you
because
thinking?
so it's like I would, let's say, take a visa of like 30 days, right?
Hmm.
To US. I'd go to California. I'd stay there for like 60 days. So after 30 days, of course, they'll search for me. And after, let's say, 60 days, when I'm over extended my visa, I go to a cop and say, I'm overstaying. So I need to seek asylum now. That's the easiest way to get citizenship right now.
What?
You'd become a US citizen.
And they just give citizenships like this?
Yeah, because you're seeking asylum, right? Asylum. You cannot
That's
go back to your country.
wild.
What?
Well, I
I
think
don't
I
know about
think
it.
with the recent election, I don't think that's gonna happen anymore.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Yeah,
Right?
this industry is wild. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole passport scenario is a whole different game, right? If you
yeah,
look at Europe, there are like contract marriages for passport and
it's
all
so
that
hard.
stuff.
It's really hard. Like I did a little bit of the research, not too much, but I did a little bit of the
Hmm.
research. It's really hard for her to get a European passport. The only place that's easy is
Hmm.
like I think it's Portugal, and it
Hmm.
costs like 300K. So it's
Yeah.
it's double priced than the Caribbean, and the
Hmm.
Caribbean, many countries in the Caribbean do it, and they have like 170 countries visa free.
Yeah.
Or
But you also have tax benefits, right? In Caribbean, you don't have income tax. You don't have corporate tax.
I'm not
It's like,
sure.
yeah.
I'm
I
not
mean, it depends which country in Caribbean you're looking at. If you're looking at something like Trinidad,
Yeah, I think
it
so.
depends.
But personally, I just looked at the passport,
Hmm.
because that's what we're after, right? Like, so she can just travel. Because there's, yeah,
Yeah.
like it's affecting us now badly.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
with income tax,
That is,
it's
yeah,
that's
because
really annoying. But
you have a superiority, right? In terms of passport,
yeah.
dude, you could literally walk into an airplane without booking, they would still accept you. Right?
Oh, I'm just gonna pay now.
Yeah. And as Asians, even if we got visa, there is a chance that we cannot go onto that airplane.
Yeah.
Right? We cannot take that flight sometimes. Yeah. I mean, that's a weird scenario. Imagine some Asian countries, right? Like Pakistan and that those passports. Those were just fucked.
Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard.
Right? because it's like you are like on alert all the time, and you have to literally fight to get anywhere,
Yeah.
right? Anyway, so what's your kind of suggestion to somebody who is looking to settle in their life, to find a partner?
He's looking to to find a partner. To
Yep.
settle, I don't think I'm a good person for that because we're both planning to keep traveling and not settle for probably the next one
Settle meaning
year.
have one partner for
Or
life.
like settle. Well, you have to make the decision of like that you want to have a life partner, and you
Hmm.
have to figure out what are the pros and what are the cons, and if that's
Hmm.
something that you really want and why you want it, right?
Hmm.
That's first. Second is figure out, and if you this is like if you really want to pursue it, right?
Hmm.
Actually no, this is if you in general for everybody. Make a
Hmm.
decision of what you want. Do you want a life partner? If so, why do you want a life partner? Right? What if you don't want a life partner, if you just want situationships or random relationships, okay, great, but like why? Understand really deeply why you want it, not just because some guru online saw you saw told you that you can bang tens that you should go do that, you know.
Hmm.
So really understand your whys and your motivations.
Hmm.
Then the second step would be to figure out who it is that your life partner is going to be, right? Like what are you looking for?
Hmm.
Specifically focus on beliefs, values, goals, dreams. Focus on those four, not really looks. It's like you can't just say, "Oh, my ideal partner is a 160 tall. She has glasses. She's a blonde. She has blue eyes. She has
Hmm.
a nice butt." Like that's that's not that one. That's not what I mean. I mean values, beliefs, dreams, goals.
Hmm.
Um, and this is where it begins, like how serious, how fast do you want to do it? If you want to do it really fast, then
Hmm.
you go to the next step, is figure out, okay, where is this person hanging out? Can I meet her at a
Hmm.
yoga retreat? Can I meet her at an open mic? Can I meet
Hmm.
her, or can I meet him? Doesn't matter, right? Where would this person hang out,
Yeah.
right? And then just go there and talk to the people and figure it out. Also,
Hmm.
forgot to mention, you have to ask yourself, if I met this person today, would
Hmm.
they be interested in me?
Hmm.
And this is a big key here because you can write out, oh, I want to have somebody who has their own business, successful, does yoga, this, that, whatever, believes, wants to build a charity, do all this, right? And then you ask yourself, okay, if I met this person today, would she be interested in me? And you're like sitting at home playing video games all day, then the
Hmm.
answer is fucking no. Then you have to work
Yeah.
on yourself and become the person who
Hmm.
this person could even be would be even be interested in, right? So like
Hmm.
you have to become the person that would be compatible with your ideal partner. And then so if you want to do it more faster, go and hang out in places where you can potentially meet her. If you
Hmm.
don't, this is what I would recommend. Don't pursue it. Focus on becoming that person and
Hmm.
just do your own thing, and it will kind of happen. Just like for me, like I wasn't doing free hugs. I wasn't giving away roses. I wasn't doing free hugs to find a girl. I was doing it for me. Like I was doing it because that's something that was as a part of my personal development journey. It's like something of like I want to be the person who gives free hugs. I want to be the
Hmm.
person who gives away roses. Like that's who I wanted to be, and that's why we got together because of that. It wasn't like I'm gonna do free hugs to find a partner, you know?
Hmm.
For this,
Got it.
like in my country, like they use the word, so I'm gonna translate it to English. They
Hmm.
say building a garden and grow a flowers, then you're gonna get a butterfly. Don't
Hmm.
try to catch the butterfly. You cannot catch them. If you build
Got
a
it.
garden, you have a beautiful garden. The butterfly just come,
Hmm.
millions and millions of them. So
Got it. So essentially, grow yourself to be desirable, right?
Yeah.
Got it. And yeah, with that valuable advice, guys, thank you so much for being here, taking your time, um, and Yeah, hope to have you back in the future once again. Maybe I don't know when, but hopefully in the future.
Yeah.
Um, and to my listeners, guys, this is the end of the episode. I hope you did learn a lot about relations, especially cross-border relations. And until next episode, take care. Bye bye.